Hi, welcome to Flights of Fancy Storytime. I'm Ann from the National Air and Space Museum, and I'm here to bring some of our museum stories to you. Today, I'm thinking about the moon. I like to look for the moon in the sky in the daytime and the nighttime. At night, the moon is easier to see because it glows brightly as it reflects the light of the sun off of its surface. Sometimes, when the moon is low in the sky, it seems to be bigger and glows bright orange color. This is still sunlight, like the sunlight we see at sunset, which is so many pretty colors like orange and peach and pink. When the moon is higher in the sky, it looks more white in color. This is a good time to look closely at the moon to notice what features you can see. You can look through binoculars to see light and dark places on the moon. You might notice the texture of the moon is not smooth. It has bumps and craters and lines on it. What do you see in this picture of the moon that was taken through a telescope? Can you see some of those features? Do you think that the light of the moon could be strong enough to come through your window and cast shadows on your wall? Here's a story about that. Once upon a time, there were 3 friends who liked to spend time playing together. They were Millie, Ruth, and Lou. One day, the 3 friends were sitting under the big maple tree resting after riding their scooters up and down the hill. Millie said, "Can you come to a sleepover at my house on Friday night?" Ruth said, "Oh, that would be fun. I can bring my binoculars to look at the moon." "Yes," said Lou, "and I can bring some of my comic books to read." "Yay," said Millie, and she told them to ask their folks if it would be okay. That Friday, Millie was getting ready for the big sleepover. She made popcorn to have for a snack. She cleaned up her room and cleared space on her floor for sleeping bags and blankets. When she was getting ready, her little brother Mo peeked into her room. He wanted to talk to her about the latest rocket launch that was being planned. "Mo," said Millie, "tonight is a special night for me and my friends. It's just for us girls. No little brothers are allowed." Mo looked a little sad, so Millie said, "Well, you can come for a little while in the beginning of the night, but then you have to go to bed in your own room." "Okay, Millie, I promise not to bother you," Mo said, and he and Barkley went off to play outside. Ruth arrived first, and Lou came just a few minutes after. They went up to Millie's room to set up their sleeping bags and get their pillows and stuffed animals just right. Then they all went to the kitchen to have pizza for dinner, and Mo and Barkley joined them. After pizza, they all went up to Millie's room to read Lou's comics. Ruth picked up one called Strange Worlds and started to read it. "Oh, this one has a creepy green monster in it." She made a funny monster noise. "Moo." Millie and Mo looked at the pages of the comic with Ruth. "Oh no, there's a weird red bug monster too," said Millie, and she pointed at the picture in the comic book. "The monsters are coming after the space explorers." "I hope they don't get them," said Mo. "No," said Lou. "The space explorers always win in the end." Lou picked up another one. "I like this one with the giant robot," and then she used her robot voice. "I am a robot." They all started laughing. Millie looked out the window. "The sun is going down. It will be dark soon. Time for a snack. I'll get the popcorn." She ran off to get the bowl of popcorn and then returned. The friends dug into the bowl and started munching. Then Ruth pulled out her binoculars. "Let's look at the moon." They all went to the window and spotted the moon coming up close to the horizon. "Wow, it's so big and round and looks kind of orange like a peach," said Lou. They all took turns looking through the binoculars to see it. "Wow," said Millie, "you could really see so many more parts of the moon with the binoculars. It looks so close to us." Ruth said, "It looks a little bit like the bowl of popcorn." They all laughed at that. Ruth said the moon is so beautiful. And then she yawned. Suddenly everybody was yawning. "Okay, Mo, time for bed," said Millie. "Good night." "Good night," said Mo, and he went off to his own room. They turned out the light. The moon was higher in the sky now and whiter in color. The moonshine shined through the trees outside the window into Millie's room. The light made shadows on the wall. Lou pointed to a shadow and whispered, "That shadow looks like a robot with long arms." Millie pointed to another shadow and whispered, "That shadow looks like a big bug monster from the comic book." The wind started blowing and the shadows waved and moved. They heard a creepy scratching noise. Ruth said, "What's that noise?" The wind blew harder and the shadow monster moved and scratching noise got louder. The friends huddled together. Suddenly, there was a loud snap sound and a crashing noise. Mo came running in, all out of breath. "Did you hear that noise? Do you think it was a scary space monster?" whispered Mo. "No, Mo, there are no monsters," said Millie. Millie turned on the light and looked out the window. She saw a big tree limb down on the ground. "It's okay, everybody. The wind just knocked a branch off of the big tree. That's what the loud noise was." Lou said the scratching noise must have been the branch scratching against the other branches. It was pretty spooky. "Look," said Ruth, "when you turned on the light, the shadows disappeared." Millie turned off the light again. "And now they're back again," said Lou. "There's my robot shadow." "And there's the bug monster shadow," said Ruth. Mo put his hands up on his head and wiggled his fingers. "And I'm a spooky space monster." Mo's shadow looked big and spooky on the wall. The girls all shrieked and giggled. Millie said, "Tomorrow we'll have pancakes for breakfast, and then we can make monster shadow puppets. But we better get some sleep now. Good night, Ruth. Good night, Lou. Good night, Monster Mo." Ruth and Lou said, "Good night, Monster Mo," and Monster Mo crept back to his own cozy room. It's craft time. Today we're going to make spooky monster shadow puppets. You can try these out and make a shadow with them using light, and this will block the light and make a shadow. You see the shadow? So what we need for this craft is a straw, drinking straws, some tape. You'll want a piece of construction paper, and then some different materials. I'm using some natural materials that I collected from outside, like leaves and grasses, and also using some different things that I have, like cupcake holders and little scraps of paper, things that I collected. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take our construction paper, which is going to be the body of our monster, and attach it to the straw, which is going to be our handle, and we're going to use our tape for that. So I have a piece of tape right here, and I'm going to put the tape on the top of the straw, just like that, and then attach it to the construction paper, just like that. There we go. Now I can hold it up, and that's going to be the monster. Now I have to think about, what do I want my monster to look like? So I might draw some different eyes. Maybe I want to have some big rectangle eyes on my monster, and maybe this monster is going to have a big happy mouth like that. Now if you shine the light on that, you're not going to see those features in the shadow. So what you need to do is cut them out. And so to cut those out, I'm going to fold right over where right on where I drew it, right in the middle of it. And then it's easy for me to take my scissors and cut that rectangle that I drew right out with the scissors. You can also get a grown-up to help you with this cutting part. This might be a little bit tricky, but as I cut it out right on the fold there, you can see that when I open it up, are some eyes. And let's do the mouth too. So I'm going to fold right on where I drew the mouth, and then I'm going to make a little cut along there, and cut it right out along what I drew. Doesn't have to be exactly. There we go. Wow. Now, when I look at that shadow that it makes, you can see the shadow of the monster on the paper. That's fun. Now I'm going to add some other details. Maybe my monster has, I'm going to put these little seeds on there, and I'm just going to stick those on to the top of the monster. So it's going to be, I don't know, maybe their ears or some kind of thing that the monster has sticking up on the top of them. So I'm going to just use some tape and stick those on. Oh my goodness. And now maybe I also have these triangles. Maybe these triangles will be good on the side. So I'm going to add those triangles right to the side of my monster here. Using tape again, so I'm going to take my tape, attach tape to the triangle just like this, and then I can attach that right to the puppet. And I have another one that I can add on the other side just the same way. So I'm going to attach the tape to the piece of paper and then put it right on my, should I have it go this way this time? That looks fun. There we go. I wonder what that's going to look like. Let's check it out. Whoa, that's a pretty neat shadow. I love it. Try it out yourself and see what kind of fun creatures you can make. It's a lot of fun to try different ones and to see what their shadows look like, and maybe do a little puppet show and see what things show up in the shadow and what don't. I hope you enjoyed this craft. If you like our crafts and story times, please like the video and also subscribe on our Air and Space Museum channel, and you'll get these videos each month. Bye-bye!